Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Behind the Curtain. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, which is mental health amongst international students. And, I'm sure many of you watching this episode today can relate to this. Being a student in itself is tough enough as it is. I'm sure all of us can understand that. But being an international student on top of that, coming to a new country, learning about a new culture, it can be a lot and it can definitely take a toll on a person's mental health. So we're just going to be talking more about that. And with me here today, we have Mohammadi.
Hi.
Hello. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I am Mohammadi. I'm originally from India and I got graduated from Brunel University last year.
Mm-hmm.
I did my master's in media and public relation, and currently I'm interning for a PR agency and also freelancing for another PR agency, hustling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And could you tell us a bit more about your overall experience as an international student?
It was with Brunel University.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. I remember the first day, the campus is so big and it's so huge, and it was a freshers week, and I arrived there and there were so many things to do around, so many new people to meet and people from everywhere, because it's so diverse. You get people from everywhere, and that is what you look for, when you are when you want to study abroad. You want to get the taste of all the cultures from everywhere.
Yeah.
So I literally met people from all around the world in Brunel. That was really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, me as well. I study at Brunel and I agree the campus is great. Everything is just lecture center, library, shops, all on
That's
one campus.
true.
It's really great. And did you live on campus? Did you live in the accommodations?
No, I lived in Wembley because it was near the stadium, Wembley Stadium, again, because my idea was to just be more closer to the city, because I really wanted to feel that. But but I enjoyed that as well, because in that way, the accommodation that I was living in, it was a private student accommodation, and I got to meet students from other universities.
Oh, nice.
So it was a good experience. Yeah.
And when you came to the UK, and you started uni, did you know anybody here, or did you just start completely fresh?
So I have had relatives who have studied here,
okay.
but they have studied and they have come back to home.
Okay.
And few friends who have studied, but again, so my answer would be that I did not know anyone. When I came here, it was again, it was the new country, new chapter of life, lot of expectations, excitement,
And how did you go about making friends? Did you join societies or how?
So I did really get along with my classmates. So that's where the friendship, began. And again, whenever there was any with the venue, and with the nightclub, so I would meet people there. And if there are any birthday parties in the court, and you meet people there. So I think it's a very happening campus. People are celebrating. There is a celebration. I don't know what, but every day there's a celebration. So that was a way of meeting people.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Brunel is always alive, 24 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
There's always something going on. So, so onto the more serious matter.
Yeah.
When it comes to your mental health, how were you coping with the transition, from India to the UK? How did it affect your mental health?
I would say that it affected in a most unexpected ways, because when I arrived here, I did come with a very practical mind, that I knew a lot of situations that would be thrown at me, because I have had my friends studied abroad, and then you get the reality check from them. Even though I was prepared, there were still bits where where I was just taken aback, and then there were situations where I felt lonely, where I felt alone, in a country. So there were situations like that.
Mm-hmm. And with your mental health, did you seek help for it?
While I was studying in Brunel University, I did not seek help, and the reason being, I come from a culture where seeking mental help, or even like seeking mental help or talking about it, like let alone seeking mental help, is not encouraged. Is It's always frowned upon. Is always not motivated.
Yeah.
So I also grew. I kind of built that in me. I always like used to be this like strong girl, strong woman. Like I'm like, okay, I cannot be like, I cannot be upset over certain things. Like
Yeah.
it's just not me. Like I'm not a loser,
Yeah.
So you have that expectations. You build up this certain like whatever stereotype,
Yeah.
perception people have of you. That's not even your perception. It's of people that they keep telling you that you're strong. And then,
Yeah.
well, just ask me. Like just first ask me if
Exactly.
I am.
Yeah.
So that was a reason that I never seeked help. But I have had friends like my classmates who have, because they understood, they realized it. And it's not. I feel that it should be basic, like going to therapy and
Yeah.
counseling should be a basic practice for everyone, because again, it's a self-reflection, like you understand yourself.
Yeah.
So it's only recently that I've started taking sessions, like counseling sessions, and because I had a battle to fight, for myself, because I
Yeah.
had that stigma about mental health. And over this like 1 year that I have been here in the UK, I think I've got educated enough and strong enough to just face the counseling side or the
Yeah.
therapy side.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, myself, I can understand where you're coming from. My mom, she's from India. So, growing up with my mom, whenever I would have my own mental health struggles, I'd always be met. Like, if I would try and talk to her, she would, like, laugh.
Yeah.
Or just make it seem like it's
Dismiss
not
it.
serious. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, oh, it doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
then that's really unhealthy, if you
Yeah.
just constantly have this thought in your head that your thoughts don't matter, or like they're too small.
Yeah.
Or being told, I don't know if you can understand, like if you can relate, but being told you're just ungrateful.
Yeah,
and
I
you're-
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense. Like I get that
Yeah.
a lot. Like they tell you to like look at the people who have like more problems than you, or who are a lot less privileged than you, and they just tell you to forget about your problems because somebody out there have like bigger problems.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. But yeah, I understand the the vision behind it. I understand the motive, but that's not solving my problem.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because, if we try and minimize our own problems and be like, okay, that person's struggling more, then, by doing that, we're not making our problems go away. We're just trying to push them to the side.
That's
and,
true.
if you suppress your problems, they're
That's true.
just going to stay there.
Yeah.
Until one day, like, they just...
Explode.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
you
I
know?
know. Yeah.
So it's not good to bottle it all up inside, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your experiences with therapy, you said you just started that recently, right? So that's NHS or private?
It's a private. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the process, like, for those who might not even know where to start? Like, what was your process towards, like, actually, seeking therapy?
Firstly, again, it was a long battle that I had. Like, I had days when I didn't want to do it, and I wasn't comfortable with the idea of like being vulnerable to a stranger or to just open about my life to someone that I barely know.
Yeah.
But I think you just like, again, it took me a year to get over that misconception that was fed to me over the years that I grew up with in a certain culture. So I believe, firstly, I just, it wasn't the counseling or the therapy that I aimed at. I just started to understand myself. I just started to again, seek some knowledge via social media or, YouTube, to seek and then listen to people who are like educated enough and then who are like, credible enough to teach you about psychology, to just like, gaining knowledge from there, and then just to understand my patterns, my trauma, so that this is also a good practice of it enables you to like speak about yourself to your therapist or your counselor. Because if you do not know yourself, it's just as confusing, and you're just sitting there and you don't know what's happening.
Exactly.
So I think I would encourage everyone to do that, just to like have the basic knowledge of psychology, understand how things works, like how you yeah.
Have you ever tried journaling?
I used to do that when I was a kid. Like I remember I just used to write it down every day, whatever is happening, and that did give me it was a way of like I think it was very therapeutic again, because I used to look forward to do that every night, like, and the things, the highlights of my day, I just used to write it down. Yeah, and I wouldn't write everything that, okay, I woke up this morning and I brushed my teeth. I wouldn't do that. Like, I would just write the highlights, and I think it's a good practice, because I also, like, there are days now that I just, like, like, something comes up about whatever I have written like years ago, and that just surprises me, that and it tells me the long way that I have come, the journey. I'm like, wow, this was me like years ago.
Exactly.
This is how, like,
exactly.
So,
it's so nice to, like, look back and, like you said, like, see how far you've come. And it's really me. I used to journal as well. I wanted to start it back up recently, but I don't know, I just haven't. But when you look back and you see the times where you were struggling, and then you see how, like, now you're out of it, it gives you, like, hope as well.
Yeah, it does.
Because there is hope, and you can get out of these things. It's just like a process of actually, like you said, finding out for yourself, like, what's going on, and then seeking help. You know what I mean? So yeah. Is there any, like, self-care exercises that you do that kind of help your mental health, do you think?
Yeah, I think there are certain things. I do yoga that helps me a lot. Like, it's a task where you just have to stay still for, like, minutes. You cannot do that if you're restless. You can only do that, when you're, like, at ease, you're happy, and then you're calm. So meditation, of course, like, that gives you that enables you to just stay still in the moment and not think about anything, just not worry about anything. So that is the practice. And obviously you cannot get it like that. You cannot just start meditating from today and you will be there. It's a process. It's a long process to just, like, to be able to not think anything and to just concentrate on your breathing. Like, so things like this. And also I pray, because I believe in a faith, and that gives me a hope, like, praying every time whenever I feel low, whenever I feel that things are not working out my way. I just, like, isolate myself, pray, and that just, like, gives me assurance. Yeah.
When it comes to meditation, I tried when I was younger, and then I kind of gave up, because it is difficult. Like,
so difficult.
Just silencing your mind, when the thoughts are racing around. How long, like, would you say it took you before you kind of, like, got, like, properly into it, if that makes sense?
Into meditation.
So
I follow a religion that is Islam, right? So we pray 5 times. So I have been praying since I was in my 6th standard, like, since that's when I started praying, and it wasn't forced. It was like it was something just I wanted to do, and I started praying. It wasn't forced. When I say it wasn't forced, I mean that, as your parents, they always tell you what to do. So they always encouraged me, but it was like, it was naturally that it came from me. And the reason was that I had a teacher in my school, and she was really, really pretty, and I had a huge crush on her. And there was one time where, it was a free period and we weren't doing anything. So she was just chatting to us, and then she told us that, oh, when I was younger, a teacher told me or whatever, and she was just lecturing us and telling us, this is the age, like, if you want to pick up a habit, this is the age, and if you do it right now, you would never leave it, like, it would stay with you. So I think because she was pretty and I had a huge crush on her, but also she spoke sense. So,
I wonder if she's watching.
Hello. Oh, she is. So I just started doing it, and I think that it's years, like, even now when I pray, like, a lot of thoughts comes into my head, and again, that's a battle. You're just, like, trying to concentrate, and all these people who have mastered meditation have been doing it for years and years. And so, I mean, the aim is not to be an expert, just to practice it, so that it's an escapism for you from that, that hustle bustle of your life. And then just
I mean, I guess with anything really, like, with me, I have a tendency that if I start something and I don't just be perfect at it straight away, I would just give up. But that's very, like, unrealistic.
Yeah, that's true.
So if anyone's like that,
don't be like that.
Don't be like that. Yeah, don't do that. The analogy I like to tell myself is, like, imagine if you can't swim,
Yeah.
and then you go in the deep end and then you say, oh, I can't do it, and you jump out and you don't start swimming again. Like that doesn't really make sense, right?
It doesn't.
You need to get the little paddle noodle and go in the shallow end and all that first, you know.
It's a whole process.
Exactly. Work your way up. So don't jump in the deep end.
No.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah.
So you recently won a pageant, right?
Yes.
Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So it was a very good experience. It wasn't a beauty pageant. It was a non-conventional pageant where it was more emphasized on the community work, the social work. So that was the motive of the platform, to give voices to people, to women who are credible enough, who have story to tell, and who are a woman of substance, like who can influence people around them. So it was a very good experience. Again, it was a way of me understanding my drawbacks and my plus points, and I really enjoyed that, because again, it was me back in the competition after years. Like I haven't done that in years. I participated in like college level pageant when I was 16. So it was me now doing it like years later. So it was a good journey. Yeah, I learned a lot. I one thing that I really learned is that, so the platform is AGLP, so AGLP Enterprises Limited, and they run these pageants, and they collaborated with a lot of other, there was a lot of like sponsorships with a lot of brands, like for the venue, for the jewelry, for the costume and events and everything. I understood the power of collaboration, and and I understood that it is so silly. The competition is so silly. It's only when people get together they can make bigger things happen.
Exactly.
And we are seeing nowadays, like with in like music industry or wherever, film industry, like there are people from like different corners of the world, like they're collaborating, and then that just gives them like wide reach of the audience, like from both the sides. So collaboration. I learned the power of collaboration.
Yeah. So you said you didn't like participate in a pageant since you were 16, right?
Yeah.
How did you like get the confidence to actually go for it again? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when so this happened when I was done with my dissertation, and I didn't have anything to look forward to. And it was really, it was a scary part where you have just
I know.
turned in your dissertation and you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
And I think I've heard like few of the people that I knew about pageant or something, and I researched them up, and I thought that this is the good way of looking something forward to, and also to like gain experience, and to to meet more people in the same community, and to just network, and so that was the way how that's how it started. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're also brand ambassador for 2 charities, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about them?
Definitely. So the one is MRFA, and they are focused. They focus on a lot of subjects, like be it mental health or food insecurity among like certain communities. Like they work exclusively with certain communities. They have done a lot of work back in India as well. So, but this is really, I really look up to them, MRFA, because the founder of this charity, she is a doctor in law. Her name is Dr. Shubhangi Mitra, but she was also an international student. So that is something that really inspires me, because when you're trying to start something new, when you're literally starting from the scratch, and you see people who have made it but have also gone through the journey that you are in right now, that gives you a lot of inspiration, and that gives you hope. So I think that is a reason that I really look up to the foundation and her. She's like an idol. And the other charity is they were the official charity partners with the platform, the pageant platform, AGLP. So the name is One Vision. They are based in Watford. So when they started working, they had one subject that was food insecurity among Asian communities, South Asian communities, Indian community. And as they grew, they expanded it to like many other issues like mental health, diabetes, cancer. So so these are the bit about the organizations, and anyone who wants to gain some experience or want to like find a purpose in life and just to do a little bit of work in charity, please, you can approach them. Just like go on their website, just call them. Like they'll be more than happy to, let you volunteer for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said they do work to like raise awareness for mental health, right? What kind of stuff does that involve? Like fundraising or?
It does, yeah. It involves fundraising. It also involves a lot of campaigning, a lot of networking, and they work in a very they work in a very exclusive way where they address people through someone who already know that person.
Okay.
That gives you the sense of trust. Like so that's how they work. And also they are focused on communities who are considered minorities in West, and I find it really interesting because that doesn't restrict them to just one community, because there are so many communities who are considered minorities in West. So that is something that that really fascinates me about them. Yeah.
Nice. So for other, international students out there, would you recommend then that they would get involved in a charity or something like this?
I think they should, obviously, because I think it gives you that sense of, it gives you purpose in life when you're doing something for charity, be it anything, even if you're volunteering for a day, for an event, or just like whatever you can do from your side, it gives you a purpose. And who knows, like you would find your purpose. Like maybe there is something that, maybe there is a topic for me. International, like mental health awareness for international students was a topic that I wanted to raise awareness, because I can deeply resonate with that, and I have been through that journey. But for a lot of people it could be something else, because I know someone that she wanted to raise awareness for diabetes because she lost her father due to diabetes. It could be anything that that you want to raise awareness. It comes from a story. That gives you a purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so definitely, I think also it's a way of like networking. It's a way of getting to know your community, more people.
Yeah, true. And also, you never know like what your work could be doing. You could be making a difference in so many people.
Definitely. Every voice matters.
Exactly. There's like so many people out there struggling with not just mental health, but like you said, illnesses, diabetes, all sorts of things. So, just one person can make all the difference,
True. Yeah.
So if anyone's interested, you know where to go.
Yes.
Yeah. So, pause. So, going back to Brunel, when it came to like, campus life and everything, were you part of any societies or?
I wasn't, because the reason being I wasn't living on campus. I was living in Wembley near the stadium, because I wanted to get more taste of the city like London.
Yeah.
And but that was something I decided before arriving in the UK. And then I think I've seen the campus, the pictures and everything on the social media, but I didn't realize how big it was. And then the first day that I arrived, and I was like, oh my God, this campus is huge. And I think there were times that I kind of regretted not living on campus, because I know I have friends who have a lot of stories to tell about the campus, the things that happens there and how happening it is, and it's a different experience altogether. But again, I think things happen for a reason. So so I wasn't part, but I used to go to a lot of like the nightclub venue, like the Bollywood night or Fiesta night, and a lot of birthday parties in the court. Like I don't know, like you go for one birthday party and then you end up in another and you don't even know the people. So it's like
that is so true, and you meet so many people.
And it's always, as every night is a celebration there in the court, and I don't know what they're celebrating, but there's something that they're doing. Like so it was fun. I think it's a very happening campus, and I think I would recommend it to people like who wanna come here, study in London.
I think Brunel's really great because everything's on just the one campus. You get the lecture centre, the library, shops, accommodation, everything's just one place.
That's true.
So like you get like the proper, it's
the
like
feel of the living, on campus.
Exactly. It's like you're like its own little bubble.
That's true.
Someone once likened it to EastEnders. There's a soap opera. And they're all like in EastEnders, they're all in one town, Wolford, and someone said it's like that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of drama happening.
Yeah, there is.
But yeah. Okay, wait. Pause. Oh gosh, okay. I've run out of questions. Let me think.
Yeah. Sure.
So, apart from therapy for your mental health, have you done anything else? Like medication or anything?
Not really, because I think I just got started with the counseling, and I'm just like building that relationship with my counselor. So, and you know how important it is to like click with your counselor.
Yeah.
So the answer is no, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, sorry, ignore my bad memory, but remind me, you haven't had a session yet, or you have?
I have had a session, but
okay.
I just started sessions, but I haven't taken any medication. Yeah.
Okay, so your first session, how was that like?
It was exciting because I think, you know, I have seen it in movies and in like series, okay, especially in thrillers, like, you know, and obviously
with the chair and the lying
exactly,
down, yeah.
and the one who is seeking help is the culprit.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not you.
Well, you never know. No, it's not me. Do you think I can? No.
That's the question.
Yeah. So, but coming back to the topic, it was exciting, and I think I am in that process. I think I haven't opened up yet because, you know, you would take the time to build up that connection and to just like be completely vulnerable.
Yeah.
So no, and medication, I think just because I'm just getting started, so I haven't. But I believe you have. You take medication.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to medication, I just want to say that, any help for mental health can be very stigmatized, but I don't know. In my experience, there's a big stigma around taking medication for your mental health. And I've struggled with my mental health for like quite a few years, I think, since I was a kid. But I never really wanted to take antidepressants, and like the last few months were really rough for me, like mentally, to the point where I was so depressed. I wasn't really cooking, I was barely eating, I was just like in my bed. I didn't want to see anyone, like even my own brother, my own family. I didn't want to see them because I just wanted to shut myself away, keep the curtains closed, you know what I mean? And, you know, whenever I would like talk to like my friends, or, you know, I'm Christian, so I would go to the pastor in the church and be like, oh, you know, should I, what do you think about antidepressants? I'd be met with like, oh no, you shouldn't, because people don't really like understand depression, so they think like, oh, why do you need to take pills for it? And then people have this like idea about antidepressants, like it's like drugs or something, like it's gonna make you like high or something, and you're gonna be like, woo, but that's definitely not the case. And so, like, I think the breaking point was when I was so depressed I couldn't see my own brother. That was like, okay, what's going on here? That's weird, you know. Not weird, but like, that's not okay.
Yeah, it's not.
So, you know, it was tough for me, but I finally went to the doctor and I was like, you know, I'm not okay. Like, and, you know, and we went through the process of getting the prescription. I cannot pronounce my prescription's name. It's something beginning with M. But I've been taking it for the last month, and I can say that I'm not high.
She's not.
I'm not high, but I feel much more like a normal person should feel. Like that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like lying around in my bed all day. I'm not just crying all the time. You know what I mean? Like I can see my brother. I can see my friends. You know, like even it affected like my work with this podcast. You know, like for a while I wasn't able to do the work with the podcast because of my mental health as well. And now I'm here. Yay. So yay! Yeah, I should do that. But you know, I just want to say that, you know, if anyone's struggling and wants to like thinks medication could help, because, you know, obviously like therapy and self-care and everything, but sometimes you kind of need something to bridge the gap while you're waiting for therapy or while you're in the process of it, you know what I mean? And it can really help to help get your life back on track, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. And you know, the way I started to think about it is, you know, if you have a physical health problem, like, I don't know, like an infection or, I don't know, like a broken leg or something that was a bit extreme, but you know what I mean? You would go to the doctor, you would get treatment, and no one would say, oh, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
So really, the same thing should be for mental health as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it's not, but, you know, that's what I'm putting out there for everyone.
Should be,
But yeah, going back to therapy as well, when you were talking about like how it's hard to like trust, I can completely understand that as well. Like my first ever therapy session, I was 16 and I was in school, and I remember like talking to the therapist. She was a school therapist, and she told me to go and like talk to my teacher or talk to my friends. At the time I had no friends. I had no friends. So I was which friends? Hello?
But I mean, the therapist was really friendly because I mean so kind.
Yeah, right?
How could someone be so compassionate? Like,
right? It's so compassionate. I didn't go back to therapy for 2 years. I was like, okay, I'm not doing that again. Forget I even tried. I walked out the office and never went back.
Wow.
But yeah, I just want to say, like, to anyone out there who might have had a bad experience with therapy, because not all therapists are going to be like fantastic.
Yeah, true.
You know, like,
and it's not about their qualification or their capability. It's about the connection that you build, and
exactly.
that is something that happens naturally.
Exactly.
The qualification doesn't dictate it, or So I think as you were saying, just like change your therapist if it's not working.
I mean, at Brunel have a great support system, you know. So I started therapy in my first year, and the Brunel sessions is like limited, so you can get 6 sessions. So I like would go for 6 and then a few months later do the 6 again, and so on. So recently I tried to do NHS therapy, and that was a bad experience because the therapist I was supposed to be seeing, like every time she would say, okay, let's have a disappointment, and then when the day would come, I would just not hear anything. So I'd be like, okay, but you know, the important thing is to not give up. So I'm not giving up. It's just
you shouldn't.
It's just the process of like, you know. But yeah, I'm thinking to go private as well, actually. It might be a bit better. Which, I don't know how to even do that. Which, like, agent, how does it work? Like, private therapy, I don't know. Could you tell us a bit more?
You can just get the research. Like, you know, again, it depends. The reason that I'm doing private is because when I was doing my research, I learned that, you know, people are really comfortable doing it with their own culture, like, therapist. Like if the therapist is like of my culture or of my religion or of my color or from my country, so it's easier to connect. So you know, so I think going private like gives you that freedom of choosing. And allows you to do your research and to know who is offering what, and obviously you can read the feedback, and you know, you can get the feedback from people, like get the reviews, and then because with NHS again it wouldn't be the same. So
that's very true. I mean, with the NHS therapy, I didn't actually know who she was. All I know is that I was getting messages, so I don't know like who or like any reviews or anything like that. So that sounds really good. The one thing that has always like kind of held me back from private therapy is the cost. So in your experience, what is the cost like?
So this therapy is it is sponsored by the agency, you know, the non-profit organization. But I would maybe like do a bit like, you know, research on that, and I'll get back to you about the money, because it would be costly. It would be.
Something I actually just remembered. I left the place now. That's why I forgot. But I was working at this one restaurant. It's the Wolseley. I don't know if you would have heard of it, but it's called the Wolseley Hospitality Group. They've got like 6 restaurants, and I was working on one called Fisher's. I left like last week, but they actually offered me like private therapy, but they would be funding it, if that makes sense.
Sponsored.
So I actually just remembered that now. So I guess, you know, if anyone's like working, maybe you could ask your employers about that.
You can get sponsored for that.
Exactly.
Just always ask. You never know.
Because I think a lot of places like employment places,
Yeah, they
agencies,
offer
whatever.
that. Yeah.
It's part of like the employee.
It's like the welfare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that as well. What else? I can't think.
Do you will maybe like tips to the students or?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what tips and advice would you give to international students?
Yeah. There's so many because, obviously I've come from that, I've experienced the whole journey of it. Firstly, I would say in regards of mental health, just like get the knowledge of it, like do a bit of research, listen to people, like credible people, people who have studied psychology, psychologists, and just like I'm not saying to get into the technicality of it, to like use terms in day-to-day life. Don't do that because I think your friends would be really like, they wouldn't like it. Don't try to be the doctor around. Don't doctor them. Don't do that. But just get the basic knowledge and understand like what's happening with you, like why is it happening with you. Just like revisit your past, understand your patterns, like because a lot of time we do the same thing and we expect the same result. I mean the different result. Sorry, we expect the different result, and that doesn't happen. You need to change the approach. Like there is something that you're not doing right. That's the reason you're not getting the results that you want. So that like get the basic knowledge and understand yourself. That also allows you to explain yourself very well in front of your therapist, in front of your counselor. And I think just live, understand that you do not have to be perfect, especially as an international student. We have this pressure of like doing everything. Like we want to be the part of the societies, but we also want to be famous in the university. And we want everyone to like us. And then, we want to achieve a lot in that just like short span of time. But it's okay if it's not happening. I mean, definitely aim for it. I think you should always aim high. Definitely like, have a bigger vision of everything that you do. But don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen. And if it's not happening right now, that doesn't mean it won't happen ever. Maybe there are better things for you once you have finished your studies, maybe you will flourish. Like there are different stages where you flourish in life. So it doesn't have to be in that 1 year or in that 3 years of your undergrads. So don't and also like with your friends, like try to understand yourself, like, go with the flow, explore your artistic hobbies. And when there are days that you feel that it's too much for you and you feel like you can't take it, just say that you can't take it. Don't have this mask of like I'm strong because you're not in a movie, right? You're not the main character. Not audience are not like rooting for you. Like don't give up. Don't do that. Just be human and just like
no cameras.
No cameras on you. Just like maybe there could be cameras on you when you want them to be. Like when you're walking in the city and you're looking pretty or you're looking handsome okay, then there are cameras. Assume that. But not when you're like battling. Just say that just tell people that I'm not strong enough, and then just like I think intervention, like just like interact with people, like just tell them that I cannot take it. Like, you cannot do this to me, or, you draw the line, just boundaries. Again, I think it's very, very important to, draw the boundaries with your friends, boundaries should be with everyone. It doesn't, it should be with your family, it should be with your partner, and should be with your, So again, I'm saying so many things because, I think I'm getting too excited with the fact of, giving tips because I've experienced that. And also just understand that, there are days, this is life. Life is that where there are good days, there are bad days. There are days that you're sad, that there are days that you're happy. So just like don't get too demotivated, or just like, don't get into the circle of being sad and that gets into depression. Like recognize that, when you're getting into that, and just like be strong enough in that scenario to just, pick yourself up and then hold the ownership of the situation and then say that I'm not going to let this happen.
Exactly.
If something is not happening, try something else. Like I think it's very important to have a very open mind towards the life. So these are the things that you should really need to take care of. What do you think? Because
I mean, to be honest, I agree with everything you just said. Like we're all human beings, and we like you said, we're not here. No, we're not in a movie. I said heroes, you said movie. Superheroes in a movie.
Superheroes in a movie, yeah.
But yeah, like we can only do so much, you know. And even if like your day where you don't even feel good and all you can do is like just make some food to eat, that's still something.
Exactly.
You know,
that is something.
exactly.
That's true.
Instead of like beating yourself up because you didn't, you know, cook and then climb a mountain and run a marathon and all, you know, we're just human. We can't do it. We're not in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So
just take a bit by bit, like
honestly,
baby steps.
Exactly. Yeah, just do as much as you think you're capable of doing.
Definitely.
Because if you overwhelm yourself, then
you're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
That's true.
And you have no space to kind of get better. If that makes sense as well. Just
yeah, that's true. And also I think we also tend to compare ourselves a lot with others, and we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the most you know, dangerous thing that you could do to yourself, because it's very that doesn't make sense, because you know, we all have different lives, we all have different stories. Why do you want to compare yourself with others?
Exactly.
Like that's
I
very
mean,
important.
it can be very easy though. I'm guilty. Hands up.
So am I.
Hands up. But especially when it comes to, you have social media? I have your one. Yeah. When it comes to social media, it can be very easy to start comparing yourself to people online.
That's
something
true.
I want to say is something I have to like drill into my own head, is that like people will just post online what they want you to see.
That's true.
So they're not going to be, if they're sad and, you know, they're like me, last few days, I was like in bed a mess. I'm not going to post that on my Instagram.
No, of course not. No one will. Like they just post the highlights of their life. Like the whole day they might be having a really crap day, and the one time they go out for dinner and then they just post like, I don't know, burger and fries. And you're like, oh, they're having a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they're not.
Exactly. And you think that like they're living their best life, and then they put the phone down and they're crying. You know, you never know what someone's going through.
Social media is very deceptive. Yeah. It's very
honestly. So and like you said, we're all different people. We're all on our own
journey.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have on a story.
Yeah, comparing ourselves to others, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't
make sense.
I mean, it can be so easy though. Like even me myself, I'll compare myself to like other people my age, for example. There's even some celebrities who are my age, and I'm like, oh, they're famous, they're doing this, they're doing that, and then I'm like, what about me? But we're on two different paths.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, that's very detrimental to be comparing yourself.
That's true.
So when it comes to boundaries, that was something that like lit up when you said it.
Yeah.
Has it been easy for you to like set boundaries with people?
It has been now, and again, it comes from years of experience, I would say. When I was younger, like when I was 18, 19, I was a people pleaser. I wanted to make everyone happy around me. So I would literally, it was so draining and I did not understand it. I would be in touch with my school's friends, you know, I would be in touch with the people that I work with. And I just want to accommodate everyone in my life. And because it was just me that I wanted to keep everyone happy, and I didn't realize that how draining it was. So I think I've come to like I've made peace with the fact that you cannot make everyone happy, and it is okay, and it's not your job. Just your priority should be you making yourself happy. Like if that is happening, then that's enough, and then then just like accommodate people with whatever you can, but it shouldn't be everyone. So I think it's very important, and it comes with age, I guess. It comes with some wisdom in life where you understand that you do not have to entertain everyone. And boundaries, when I say, is because I think when you see certain behavior towards you, be it in a form of banter or be it in a form of sarcasm, and if you know that it is against you, it is very important to address it right then and there, because if they can do it in a banter or sarcasm, they could do it directly. You're encouraging them to do it directly if you are not setting the boundaries. So in a way of maybe like belittling you, or like, talking down to you, or like stuff like that. We all know, like, so I think it's very important to like have that boundary, like, just like people should know that, okay, she's not gonna take it, like she wouldn't. It's
Exactly. For me myself, like setting boundaries has been difficult. Like you said, it comes with like time with age, you know what I mean? And when I was younger, like people would say something mean and they would like make it a joke, like they would just make fun of something, and they'll be like, oh, it's just a joke. So I was like thinking in my head, okay, if someone does that, just laugh it off. But what I realize now is that if someone's doing something and if it makes you upset, it doesn't matter how silly it seems, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
You know,
yeah, that's
exactly.
True. That's true.
Because if it's making you upset and it's making you
upset,
unhappy,
period.
then exactly. It doesn't matter how small, how big, you know, it doesn't matter. Anything that's throwing off your mood, it's not okay, you know.
And it's important to address. Like, just tell them that I'm not okay. Like,
exactly.
Like, just tell them that I'm not okay and don't do it again. Like,
exactly.
Just,
Especially when you're trying to like heal from like mental health problems and stuff. You want to make sure you have a like environment around you all the time that's like
safe.
Exactly. Because
for you
it's
to heal.
Exactly. It's hard to heal in an environment where
it's toxic.
Exactly. You know, it's like imagine you have a wound and then you keep like opening it up. Like you know what I mean?
It's
you need to leave it. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So boundaries are very important.
It is,
and so what I wanted to ask you before, and then I kind of forgot, now I remember, woohoo. When it comes to like you go into therapy and stuff, I know you said, you know, there's a stigma and you grew up with a stigma. Does anyone in your family like know that you're going to therapy or?
They do, because I think with the time, you know, people change, we evolve, and then with the social media, like my mom is on social media now 24/7. She sends me memes of like how to be rich and how to be away from toxic guys, and I'm like, okay, but not so many, just so I think I've told them, they know about it, and I think we have changed now, we have evolved now. Not that we weren't, it's just that we did not have a lot of access to a lot of things, and my parents, like, they did the best job that they could, but they didn't. There wasn't. They weren't provided with the information or resources at that time. So you know, they believe whatever they believed. So it has changed now, and they do know, and they're happy about it, and they say that if that works for you, you know, if it's working for you, then go ahead.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy to hear. I mean, I do agree, you know, like lack of education can make I think the older generations they might not understand because they would have like less resources, less people speaking about it, you know. So when people do speak about it, to them it might just seem like taboo, like, oh, what's going on there, you know what I mean? And because also it's like inside our head, no one can actually see it.
It's not visible.
Exactly. So people kind of don't understand, you know.
That's true.
But, you know, I'm really happy to hear that, you know, your parents are supporting you, you know, because that's what you need, like a support network around you, people who are going to support you and like encourage you, you know, like that really helps. Would you say, you know, apart from your family, do you have like, you know, friends and stuff that are like supporting?
I do have few friends. Like I have made few friends, you know, over the years from different places that I've worked with. But having said that, I am someone who cannot make friends easily. Like I socialize and I'm very good, you know, in a crowd. Like I can get along with people, but I cannot entertain them 24/7. You know what I mean? And I think because there is a reason. I feel that my energy is like is something that I should save. Like, you know, I should like safeguard it. Like so it should, and I shouldn't be accessible to everyone. So, and that is my way of saving myself, and I think it's completely justified, and you know, and it should be that way. So I would say that I struggle to make friends, and the reason is because I cannot trust anyone like that easily. I could when I was younger, but again with the experiences and I think it is a good practice for me, because again I would take my time before calling someone my friend. So again I have that surety that okay, I have taken my time. I kind of like date people before making them my friends, like you know, because like get to know them and then so it's been a bit so that I think it's with the age, because whenever I've spoken to anyone who is like older than me, they all have certain, you know, a kind of similar answer, like your friends group like decreases as you grow older. So
that's true. I mean, to be honest, I think it's better to have like few friends who are like actually your friend than like
quality.
A lot of people. Exactly. I mean, for me as well, like I also struggle to make friends because it's difficult to trust people because sometimes people will say they're your friend and then they like,
They're
you know.
not. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I feel like that the word friends is so abused.
Yeah.
It's like you have met me yesterday and you're calling me my friend.
Yeah.
What's happening? Like, don't do that.
Honestly, yeah. Or like you said hi to me one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, my friend. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Friend
honestly.
is such a pure word. Like, it has a meaning. Like, just don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, like for a long period of time, like at uni, I was very to myself and I completely didn't want to make any friends.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of slowly coming out of that. And it's actually very difficult to do.
It is, yeah.
So if
Yeah.
anyone can relate, we understand you.
Yeah, we understand, and I think it's okay. I mean, it's not, I have seen this like when I just started studying in uni. I've seen the pressure that people had to have a bigger group of friends.
Yeah.
You have that pressure because you want to be cool in the uni, and then if you have a bigger friends group, you're cool. But no.
Yeah,
like really tough to make friends. But yeah, and I was saying about, in uni you think that having a bigger group makes you cool, or like it's the expectations, or you shouldn't like beat yourself up. I think it's really important to have quality of friends than quantity.
Exactly.
So yeah, even if you have one friend and if that friend listens to you, I think you win life.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I honestly think it's better, like you said, if you have that one friend who you can go to who's there for you than a big crowd.
Yeah.
Because you can feel like really alone.
That's
even
true.
amongst a lot of people.
That's true.
And I feel like it's even worse when you're around a load of people and they're not there for you.
Yeah.
Like when you're in your time of need, if you're by yourself, then it's like, okay, I'm by myself.
That's
but if you're
true.
around people and you're calling for help and no one's there,
That's even worse.
Exactly, yeah. So, I guess, my advice is, I guess, try not to just
like pressure yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pressure yourself to have loads of friends because, I mean,
it should be organic, right?
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
friendships are never forced or they're never planned.
Yeah, exactly.
They're always effortless.
Yeah.
And you just, when you click with someone, you just click with someone.
Exactly.
And there's no agenda behind it. So I think just keep it natural. Like, and we are all different people. Like some of us have a lot of friends. Some of us like have less friends, and that doesn't define our our status or whatever. That doesn't define. It's just the way we are. So yeah.
Exactly. I agree. Well, Mohammadi, thank you
Christina.
so much for coming here today.
No, thank you
and
so much.
Let's pull out your quote. You don't have to be strong. You're not in a movie.
Exactly.
Thank
You're
you
not
for
in
that
a movie.
bit of wisdom.
Don't be strong. Just be human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much
No
for coming on
problem.
today.
No problem.
And you guys, if you enjoy this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this podcast, we've got plenty more. Check out our YouTube channel. Just go to the home and you'll see a bunch of our other podcasts. And if you want to show us some support, we have a Patreon page as well. So be sure to check that out. But yeah, until next time, I've been your host, Hestina, with
Mohammadi.
Yes. Thank you so much
Bye.
and goodbye.
Bye-bye.